here's the thing. For everybody listening, don't make the same mistake the Bengals just did in any facet of your life.
People are going to get hurt. It's the hockey season.
What about the Jared Cook play on the sideline?
I was very tempted to just put defense.
I'm saying it right now. If Anthony Davis is out for the playoffs, they don't make it out of the first round.
Come on, Austin and I've been saying this ever since Joe Burrow got injured.
I don't really think the Dodgers are going to make the World Series this year. I feel like they'll make it to the NLCS.
The Fernando Tatis extension, because that really surprised me.
Like you said, Ovechkin, he's getting older. He hasn't been playing as well as I imagined. He's one of the greatest scorers of all time, but he hasn't started off this season as hot as I would hope.
Hi, I'm Jeff Allen, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NFL Opinions of the Week. Wild series of games this weekend. I'm Kevin, or this past weekend. I'm Kevin, and I'm joined by the preacher of believing in yourself, bet on yourself, Austin. Austin, Mahomes did it again.
Yeah, he did it again, and then he didn't. So,
Well,
he had the 12 seconds and got a 61-yard field goal out of it. That was impressive.
Yep. With only one timeout. No 3 timeouts this time.
That's true, but you got to win the game, and that pick was ugly to say the least.
Yes. Overall, I thought the game was amazing. It was beautiful. And I think the Bills won because of what they did in the offseason. They got Von Miller. Von Miller had some great pressure. And that, to me, that just elevated the offensive line, which flustered Mahomes, and Mahomes made a bad pick. Or threw a bad pick.
Yeah, I just don't trust. I know they made changes and they played well this season, but against a good D line, I still do not trust the O-line of the Chiefs. I don't know if you disagree with that, if you saw something that I didn't, but against elite defensive lines, Mahomes was still running a lot.
Yeah, it was just the defensive line for the Bills. My thing with the Chiefs is you can see where Tyreek Hill would have helped. Even though I understand that Tyreek Hill move, they need that number one wide receiver that can what I've been hearing a lot is space. There's not a lot of space for the wide receivers. They don't get a ton of separation. So Mahomes has to be perfect with his throw. The guy that does get separation is Travis Kelce. But then you have one-on-one matchups and they don't take advantage. So I've been hearing rumors. Have you heard the rumor of OBJ to KC?
I have. I thought they were going to get Deshaun Jackson, but he signed with the Ravens.
Did you know that Travis Kelce they just made more room for cap? So there could be rumors. Travis Kelce said he didn't know he hopes for it, but he said that on his podcast. But so that to me where they would need a difference, because on the other side you have 2 wide receivers in the Bills. You have Stephon Diggs, who just can't leave on one, and then Gabe Davis made some great plays as well.
And Dawson Knox looked good. He's obviously not Travis Kelce, but he looked good.
Yeah, he's good. There was another. Those, and then Josh Allen was incredible. I think just the defense for the Bills is what beat them in, what led them to beating the Chiefs. However, the same thing happened last year with Bills demolishing the Chiefs by 18 points last year, and then they couldn't pull it off in the playoffs. We'll have to see. Hopefully there's a rematch. Hopefully it's an AFC Championship game. But that, to me, was like wonderful. And then you have the Eagles. So right now in the NFL, you have Eagles with the best record, then you have Chiefs, Bills. To me, they're in their own tier. However, I think the Eagles are on the verge of falling out of that tier because I'm scared of their second halves in the past 2 games. What do you think, Austin?
Yeah, and something to think about is the fact that they consistently allow teams back into games. I know you talked about the second half, but just in general, they should be dominating and then they're not. And I don't think what they have is sustainable. It reminds me a lot of the 2020 Steelers. I don't know if it's sustainable. We're going to have to see. Obviously, I could be very wrong in my prediction there, but something doesn't look right. They don't look dominant. The same thing's happening with the Giants. They're like statistics wise, they should be about a 3-3 team, but they're 5-1. They find ways to win games, and the NFC East is definitely much better than a lot of people expected.
Yes, it is. And I was like totally like, oh man, Cowboys are terrible. But then they almost came back, and that wasn't a good offense last game. And then they also almost lost to the Cardinals in the second half. Like they just don't finish the game. And the Cardinals had a terrible offensive showing against the Seahawks. They only scored 9 points or 6 points.
They scored 9, but their offense only scored 3.
Okay. So yeah, that's offense was terrible against the Seahawks, who really don't have a good defense. And then Broncos, man, that ride needs you need a new ride, and I hope they get rid of. I hope Russell Wilson gets rid of that slogan.
He can't, because if he does, he admits defeat. And I don't think he wants to, but they have the worst offense in the league. Them and the Panthers are just horrid. And the Panthers don't even have their starting QB. Even with them, they weren't all that good, but still. I'm worried about a lot of these teams that we thought were playoff teams, like the Cardinals, the Broncos, a team that I thought was going to be so good. I thought Russ was going to be Russ, and he's not. Another team I'm worried about is the Chargers. I know the Chargers won, but do the Chargers look good? No.
I didn't watch the game. I was like,
I
not
did.
watching the Broncos.
It was horrible. They still don't have Keenan Allen, and I understand that him coming back would be a big help to everything that they're trying to do. But I don't know. It just seems like they are too far from the elite class of AFC teams. And I'm worried about the Ravens. They're giving up a ton of leads. But a team I want to talk about is, should the Bucs panic or the Packers panic? Bucs, no. That was just a fluke game, I feel like. And here's the thing. Everyone's talking about Brady is washed. It has come. Brady is now terrible. Brady is 4th in the league in passing yards. Did you know that?
I did not know that, but I know there were some great throws. I was listening to another podcast, and they're like, Brady's not washed. It's just he hasn't had his time with his wide receivers because they've been injured.
Yeah, and people are like, oh, he has his lowest passing touchdown mark since 2011 or something like that. 5 games or 6 games. He only has 8. Yeah, but he's also only thrown 1 pick. Least amount of picks for everyone who's played all 6 games. And like I said, 4th most passing yards. I don't think you need to worry about if you're the Bucs. If you lose to the Panthers, it is worry time.
Yes.
It is, oh no, what is happening? And then for the Packers, I worry about the Packers. But again, they need to right the ship quickly. The Jets aren't bad. They're 4-2 now. There's only 4 teams above 500 in the NFC. Eagles.
Cowboys.
I was going to go in order, but Eagles, Vikings, Giants, Cowboys. Vikings, Giants 5-1, Cowboys 4-2, and Eagles 6-0. I don't know. And the Vikings don't even look good. They almost lost to a Dolphins team that had Skylar Thompson start for him until he destroyed his thumb, and then Teddy Bridgewater came back in and played okay.
Oh, did you hear
the Giants?
Yeah,
what?
Tua's
back. Yeah, Tua's back. Against the Steelers. No one in the NFC looks good. Like, actually, like, dominant good. Giants should not have the record they do. The Vikings continuously give up leads. They almost lost to the Bears the week before that and almost lost to a Dolphins team that had no one. They allowed like 200 yards to Tyreek Hill, and they had Skylar Thompson throwing to him for part of the game. And then you have the Eagles, who consistently let teams back into the game. And you have a Cowboys team that I don't know how they're going to look with Dak. The best team in the NFC, the team I'm most confident in, is the Cowboys. Because I believe when you get Dak back, that's going to be a huge bump. And they still have one of the best defenses in the league.
Yes. I think regular season they're going to do well. Then you have playoffs, and they're the Cowboys. I would probably stick Bucs right now. Because all you got to do is get to the tournament. That's what you got to do. Make it to the playoffs. It'll fix itself then.
Yeah.
That's my view.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, Packers, I would start freaking out about the Packers because Vikings are 5-1 in your division.
That's true. I see that. But they also
So
play
you
the
ca-
Vikings again. So they're only really down one there because they could win that game. I'm not that worried about the Packers. Also, again, it's just a get there moment because back in 2010 when they won the Super Bowl, they were 10-6 and started the season 3-3. So the regular season in football doesn't matter as long as you get to the playoffs.
Yeah. That's like the only reason I'm a little worried about the Packers is because the Vikings have jumped to a lead.
Yeah, but they haven't really played or lost to historically bad teams. Like the Jets are now 4-2, the Giants are 5-1, and the Vikings are 5-1. Those are their 3 losses: 5-1, 5-1, 4-2. It's not like they're losing to some of the best teams. I mean, the worst teams in the league.
Yeah, my thing with the Vikings though is okay. So they played the Cardinals next week, then Commanders, play the Bills. That's probably now, and then they play the Cowboys. Could win or lose depending. Then they play the Patriots. Then you have Jets. To me, they're mostly winning games, and then you have January 1st, which would be a big thing for the Packers if you can, like, just stay close to the Vikings, and then once you take control of your division, you're good, and if you're in the playoff hunt. With the Bucks, like they're still leading their division, so you're fine. Just figure out your issues and fix them before the playoffs. Same thing with the Packers, which their issue to me is the wide receivers, and by the playoffs, I think they'll have that issue fixed. Like Rodgers will have the guy he wants, which I would bet Dobbs, but then you have Lazard. I think Dobbs is going to become the new fan of Rodgers, but that's my guess.
It's him or Lazard. Lazard's played really, really well.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
So I'm not
that or what?
No, you can go.
Oh well, you can go. I was just going.
Well, I was just gonna say that I think both of them would be major. It's just like the Packers are always best when they have 2 good receivers.
Yes, I would say you need that as well. So, the shocking, like I do agree, the shocking thing has been the Broncos. Like I didn't think they were going to be Super Bowl contenders, but like I could see it. I don't see it now. Rams, Stafford is our top 10 QBs. You and I both had Stafford in the top 10. I had him higher. It's not working out. Why didn't you have Russell Wilson again?
I don't know. I'd have to find the sheet. I'm pretty sure I had him 5, but I have to find the sheet. I think I had him 5.
Above Allen.
Did I have him above Allen? I don't remember. I'd have to find the sheet.
Okay.
Oh, I found it.
Nice.
I had Allen at 5, Wilson at 4.
Yeah. Do you believe in Josh Allen now or no?
The issue with Josh Allen is I need to see it over an entire playoff run. Because if we go back to his first playoffs where he got destroyed by the Ravens, and even last year, I know they lost to the Chiefs because of overtime.
He didn't call heads.
Yeah, he didn't call heads. I always call heads, by the way. It's always heads in the playoffs. I swear, every single time. If you go both times versus with the Patriots versus Chiefs and versus Falcons, it was heads. It's always heads. Bet heads. If it's not heads, I mean, at that point, it was 50-50 anyway. But yeah, I'm regretting my prediction. But again, there was no way to really tell because we did not expect. Oh, Matthew Stafford, I just didn't believe in before the season started. But for Russ, everything he's shown throughout his entire Seattle career was him being really good. And for him to falter with this many options on offense, at least with receivers like Judy and Hamler and Sutton, this Broncos team is not a playoff team right now. They're not even really close. There's many teams in the AFC that I think are better. Another team, the Raiders have only won 1 game. Like, that division is so cheap. I thought the division was going to be so good. And I don't like the Chargers all that much. The only playoff team in that division may be the Chiefs.
Yeah, my thing, like I totally get what you're saying about predictions, and like I'm taking that on Stafford. My thing is Allen. Like, I'm just Josh Allen, top 3 QB in the NFL. So,
Yeah,
Anthony,
it's
you could argue. I would be very interested in an argument for why is Josh Allen better than Mahomes. Which I don't think it's terrible, like a terrible thing. Like if you argue that, I think they're close. And then like Brady, we still have number 1. We'll see. And then you have Rodgers. But yeah. So I just want to revisit our predictions just a little bit. Now, the Chargers, Justin Herbert's injured. They've been really hit by injuries. Rashawn Slater, left tackle, hurt. And I think if Herbert wasn't hurt, he'd be like Herbert and it'd be amazing. But that just isn't happening right now. And then, are you buying into the Bailey Zappi hype?
yes, he's looked outstanding. Now Cleveland's not that good of a team. Their defense is really falling apart, but he looks outstanding.
Yeah, I know. I'll have to see. I know it's probably going to be like another week for Mac Jones because of a high ankle sprain. It takes a while. But I'd probably still go Mac Jones. I'll have to watch a Patriots game because I haven't seen Zappi. And he looked all right in the Packers game, but it was just like a rush situation for him. And then Jets, Sauce Gardner is amazing.
Yeah, he's really good. He's really good. I don't necessarily think it's all that professional to get the cheese head, but I mean, you won the game. You're a rookie. It is what it is. I mean, it's the same thing we saw with Josh Naylor saying, "Rock the baby, you're my daddy now," or "I'm your daddy now," and then they lost. So there could be karma coming back. Is all I'm saying.
I like the cheesehead thing. It was fun. Like,
It's fun
I'm
for
all
you
for
because
it.
you're not a fan of the team.
No, but like in sports too. Like, back it up. Like, hey,
yeah,
in
back
my
it
opinion,
up. We'll have to
professional
see, though.
sports, you're grown men. You can talk trash. Just don't get physical. Like, even with the Micah Parsons thing.
Yeah, that's not a penalty. That's not a penalty.
That shouldn't be a
Micah
penalty.
Micah
You
Parsons
should throw
is
a
him.
penalty on the Eagles player that looked at the ref. No, dude. Back it up.
Micah Parsons is him. I'm not even a Cowboys fan, and I'll say that. He's him.
He's amazing. I love him. That's seriously luckiest pick in the Cowboys history. Second is Dak Prescott. But yeah, I've said it before. You can talk trash. It's after the game. Sauce Gardner, wear a cheesehead. Like, you won. Now, when you face Packers again, got back it up and get targeted. So that's my thing. I love those moments. So, or I'm starting to enjoy those moments, even with like, hey man, good job. Rock the baby, do whatever you want. Just don't push someone or do anything like that.
I mean, if you're cool with Rock the Baby and then you go 0 for 4 the next day and your team loses and is now having to watch the Yankees play, sure. It's just, let me put it this way. Well, I still think it's unprofessional to do that and call someone your daddy in professional sports. You have to back it up or you're forever a joke. Forever a joke.
Now you have to live with the joke.
Now you have to live with the "Who's Your Daddy" chant forever. And you know why I'm also really confident the Yankees could win? You remember the last time there was a "Who's Your Daddy"? You don't because you didn't watch baseball back then. But in 2009, Pedro Martinez at one point said the Yankees were his daddy at one point. And in 2009, he played for the Phillies. He played for the Phillies when the Yankees went to the World Series. In Game 6, he started. And every time Pedro pitched, every time, the "Who's Your Daddy's" chant would start. And we won a World Series that year. Who knows? The last time there was a "Who's Your Daddy" chant in the playoffs, we won.
But now Pedro Martinez has a "Who Your Daddy" show, or on the postgame show. He picks "Who's Your Daddy."
Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah. It was all in good fun. He enjoyed it.
Yeah, and like the NFL needs to fix the unsportsmanlike thing. Like if they're shoving unsportsmanlike, like they did the same thing with touchdowns. Like you couldn't celebrate a touchdown years ago, which is just lame. Like celebrate, man. Even though Gesicki needs to stop doing the gritty.
No, I love it. I love it. It's one of those things where it's a joke that's funny because it's so bad, and he knows it's bad, and he keeps doing it because he knows it's bad. That's the best part about it. It's the fact that he knows it's bad, and so he keeps doing it because it's bad. And that's just hilarious to me.
I saw that and I'm like, that's even worse than the first thing you did. No. And I'm not even a huge Gritty fan, but I'm like, no. But whatever. You do you, man. To Kiseki. So yeah, there's that. And then I am interested with the Dak Prescott. I know we're going to talk some Cowboys. I am interested in when Dak Prescott comes back because hopefully that Eagles game stops people from trying to argue quarterback controversy because there was never a quarterback controversy in my opinion. What about you?
No, we talked about this before. Like I said that Dak is a starter. Cooper Rush didn't play as bad as his stat line. He is not built for those moments right now. He's still a young player and he still needs to grow as a player. And I still would consider him being a starter in the league next year for a bad team. He's just not better than Dak. And it's unfair to both of them to say that he is because Cooper Rush didn't have all offseason to work with the offense. He didn't get to work on those throws that are really, you can't practice those. The throw he threw the last pick when CD was wide open, that's an if you make that throw is incredible because he's getting hit from the left, had to throw it to the right. That's really tough. Hit to the left, throw it to the left. It's a really tough play. And while Cooper Rush, I still think is probably a top 3 backup in the league, and he's proven that, he's not even close to what Dak Prescott brings to the table.
Yeah. I wanted to revisit again, and yeah, he's still done a great job overall in his backup stint. It was just like
there's no way the Cowboys expected more. There's no way they expected less.
I would have expected 2 wins.
They won 4. They went 4-1.
You beat AFC champion, a Super Bowl winner, and then beat the 5-1 Giants when they were undefeated. And one stat, did you know this stat? That was the first time Cooper Rush had to play without a lead for a significant amount of time. Over all those games before then, it was like 5 minutes.
Besides the Vikings game. I'm pretty sure last year in the Vikings game, wasn't he down and he let a game-winning drive?
Whoa. It was only this season. It wasn't last season. But This season, it was only like 5 minutes max of being down, which leads into your defense, which I think did well. I thought it was a well-designed play with the Eagles where they went at Parsons. Do you know what play I'm talking about? The A.J. Brown running behind Parsons and Parsons has the pick. I thought that was good. So it would be interesting. Now they do need to fix their issues. And then NFC team, Vikings, we'll have to see. I think they probably faltered too. Same thing with the Giants. And then Niners are just weird. Like one week they're great, next week they're not. They lost 28-14 against the Falcons.
Yeah, they're out 7 starters on defense. I didn't know if you knew that.
I did not know that.
7 starters. 7.
Dang. It's all their defensive backs, right? There's like 3 defensive backs out.
Yeah, it's everyone basically, besides Fred Warner, who's the only reason why they didn't allow 80 points last week. And the Falcons are actually like good. Like they haven't lost a game by more than 6 points. They've been competitive against everyone. Yeah.
Niners to me, it's mostly like their offense. I think there was a stat out there. There was just something like they can't. Oh man, it was something with like Jimmy Garoppolo or it was Kyle Shanahan about like a lead in the fourth quarter. They're like they can't win. Via statistics. But to me, that's why they went and got Trey Lance because they know what Jimmy Garoppolo is. They wanted to go shoot higher with Trey Lance, and that just didn't work out. Even though I think Jimmy Garoppolo is a good QB, it's just the Niners wanted to upgrade their offense. But Falcons have been doing well. I'm curious. I want to see Desmond Ridder because I think he brings more to the table than Mariota, even though Mariota has done far. done well.
You can't move off of Mariota while they're winning games.
Yeah,
Mariota is right for right now because I don't think they have the offensive line or the consistent ability from the young receivers to do too much to help Ritter. I think this season needs to be a Mariota season.
Okay, that's a fair point because now we can talk about Justin Fields. I think he just wasn't put in a good position, even though like last week I was like, oh, he's looking good. He's showing some flashes. I just saw some replays, and there were just like some things they just couldn't. There was a wide open player, but to me, I think he's concerned about the rush. So I think that's a good point of why it would not be a good reason to put Ritter because of the offensive line and wide receivers, because that's something we've seen happen with Justin Fields. Not good wide receivers, not good line.
Yeah, and you really have to question when they're going to make a change to help that because it really can affect your team. O-line is definitely the most important position group in the league. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, I would agree. Yeah.
So there definitely needs to be a change.
Yes, because it helps your QB, and then you can upgrade at QB and make some good plays. And Carson Wentz injured, so we'll see. Heineke maybe back.
He is back.
Oh, he is back. Sweet. But then he struggles with the offensive line, so we'll have to see how that goes. And then how do you feel about Saints? Are they sticking with Dalton, or there's a quarterback competition between Winston and Dalton now?
No? I don't know. That's a great question. I'll have to wait and see because Dalton's played well, but he hasn't played great. But Winston played terrible. So there's definitely a lot of conversation there.
Yeah, to me, it's kind of on the head coach. I think he likes a not risk-taking quarterback, which I think would why he leans Dalton. If it was Sean Payton, though, I would probably say, hey, let's stick with Winston because I think Payton could really help Winston. That's all I got. Any other thoughts? And I'll let you close it out.
Nothing else. This is a big week for a lot of teams, though, because you got to get right. We're moving on to the almost halfway point in the season, week 7 of 17. So we're getting close. A lot of teams are starting their buys. You got to get it together. But thank you guys for listening. If you haven't listened to our MLB video or our NBA season prediction video, please give those a listen. And thanks again.